Hi everyone, so I'm gonna film my foundation routine. As you can see, I already did my eyebrows, so I'm gonna show you guys what I normally use. My favorite foundation is this MAC foundation. I like this one because my face is really dry in some areas, so I usually use that. To prep my skin, I use this Murad foundation. It's called Hydrodynamic Ultra Moisturizing. So I just put a little bit of this like all over my face. Normally I do my brows after, but since I already did them, just kind of put it all over. And then I like to put some on my lips because my lips get really dry too. And then as my primer, I use the Smashbox Primer Oil. I only use about 4 drops on my entire face. And then I use the excess to put on my lips. And then rub that in. I mainly put this like on my cheeks and like on my chin and right here on my nose. I try not to put too much on my forehead because I have like oily skin on my forehead. I have a combination face, so I have to be really careful not to make myself extra oily. So whatever's left on my hand is what I just kind of rub in and then just put like on my forehead. Watch your eyebrows. Okay, so I just use a little bit of this and I normally just like dab it on my skin. A little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my nose. And then I just use a beauty blender to dab it all in. I'm just gonna make sure it's all blended in. Watch your eyebrows again. My hair's in the way. So once it's all blended in, you're gonna use concealer. And normally, so all my products today are mainly by MAC. So I use this concealer and it's in NC20. So I kind of draw like little triangles on my cheek. And then I dab some on my nose. And then I use Fix Plus to spray my beauty blender. That way it just helps blend in my concealer a little bit easier and it's not so thick. I normally try not to get some like so close to under my eye because I have little lines under my eyes and I don't want it to go in there. And then the excess from my nose, I just put a little bit right here and a little bit under my chin. And the rest onto my forehead. So just finish blending. Okay. So I don't use setting powder yet until I do my contour. For my contour, I also use a MAC concealer and it's going to be an NW40. So I try not to use too much of this because it kind of gets my skin dark, like really muddy. So I just use like a line and then I use the other side of the brush to do the other side. I'm going to set this with a MAC powder so you'll be able to see how it'll blend better than being like so muddy. We're just gonna blend this in, and the same for the other side. If you feel like it's not blending too much, you can just spray another spritz of the Fix Plus on there and just kind of get it in there. You don't want to have like a big streak of it. Okay, so normally I set this contour part first. And I don't use any of the cream to contour my forehead or my jawline. I'm gonna use this MAC powder, and it's Give Me Sun. So I use this Morphe brush. It's R9 and it's kind of angled, so it's easy to just do your forehead. So just dab off the excess, and then I kind of just like pat it on to my forehead. Don't worry, I'm gonna blend it and pat it onto my jawline. And then go in here and kind of just go straight. And then I kind of brush up. And the same for this side. Brush up. And I use a little bit on my nose, not too much. I don't like having like lines on my nose, so I just kind of use the excess. Okay, and then once that's kind of all blended in, I kind of make sure it's not like too much. Use your beauty blender, you can use that to blend in the top part. Normally I just use blush to kind of blend it in, so and then to make it like more defined, let me grab my mirror. I'm gonna go underneath it and use this chiseled brush to kind of clean it up so it's perfectly straight. And just blend down. So if you kind of mess up like I did right there, you're just gonna grab your angled brush and just kind of fix it a little bit. Okay, so just make sure all that's blended in. And then I use, what color? Dame, the blush, to kind of go like little circles to blend it in with the contour. Okay, and now to blend my forehead, I use my beauty blender and my jawline as well. So to set the streaks, I use Studio Fix powder and NC30. I just kind of rub my beauty blender into it, and then you're just gonna follow the streak pretty much. So it's not gonna look so streaky once you blend in your entire face. But I use this also to set my concealer under my eyes. I noticed that it doesn't like cake up in my little lines. Instead of using like a setting powder, I like using this better. It's easier for me. So once that's all set, I put a little bit on my nose with the beauty blender, and then I use my powder brush from MAC also. Brush is 150, and I use NC35 to just kind of put this all over my face. Make sure this is all blended in. Blend in your neck a little bit. Make sure your nose is blended. And that's pretty much it. So normally I do my eyes first and then I do my foundation, but I wanted to show you guys just a quick foundation look. So my eyes look kind of not done, but the rest of my face is complete. I didn't put any highlighter on because this is just like my foundation and my contour and highlight. So normally for highlight, I would just do it when I'm doing my eyes. Once I'm done, I set my face with the Fix Plus. I just spray 2 sprays, let it dry, and that's it. It pretty much lasts me like 16 hours since I'm like always on the go. So if you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them in the box.